Alright, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. Cody Garbrandt has his next opponent, and that is Mario Bautista. Dude, my reaction is going to be the exact same to every Cody Garbrandt fight moving forward, and that is total fear for Cody Garbrandt. Okay, they're set to face off the August 19th. They didn't even say whether or not it was a pay-per-view event or a fight night, but regardless, dude, it's I would imagine it's pretty tricky for the UFC to matchmake Cody Garbrandt because he's going to want to face, like, decent competition in order to try and get back into the rankings perhaps or whatever, but almost everybody that they give him, they have to worry about him getting flatline KO'd or finished in some which way, shape, or form. The guy, in my opinion, should probably retire if he gets finished once more. Now, his last fight against Trevin Jones was okay, but the problem is, dude, is that the only reason everybody... Okay, I don't think anybody liked Cody Garbrandt for his personality, if I'm being quite honest. I think it was more or less the look of him that had him garnering even somewhat attention, or some attention, you know what I mean? Like, just the way that he looks with his tattoos and all that stuff, and now especially the beard, he looks like Teen Wolf or whatever, or like a mini Dan Bilzerian. But, man, the reason why people like to watch him fight, rather, as opposed to liking him, is because of how exciting he was. And he was getting knockouts. He was getting tons of knockouts. He had, like, what, 10 in a row in the UFC or something crazy like that, or at least was on a massive win streak, with a majority of them being knockouts before his Dominic Cruz fight, which was extremely impressive, right? He was like the first guy in a very long time, since 2008 or 7 maybe, even if I'm not mistaken, since Uriah Faber beat Dominic Cruz, to beat Dominic Cruz. And especially in that fashion, that was like, it was extremely impressive and crazy to see. Like, it wasn't something that we had really seen before. And to be fair to Cody too, the only reason he didn't finish Dominic is because Dominic Cruz is an absolute savage who is essentially a zombie. Like, you have to either put him out, or have Keith Peterson reffing your fight in order to get the finish on a TKO or something like that. But before that, all KOs, and then ever since that Dominic Cruz win, he just went his I don't know, man. It's so strange. Like, did we never... His chin must have never been there, or what? Because when TJ fought him, that was like, we hadn't seen him been KO'd or anything like that. And then TJ KOs him 2 times in a row, and then he gets KO. Like, I'm worried for Cody Garbrandt every single time he fights, and again, the reason why we like to watch him fight was because of the knockouts, and then his last performance against Trevin Jones was not that. So I would imagine that the UFC is like, damn, dude, this guy used to be fun and people used to like to watch him fight. The only way he's going to be able to win moving forward is by doing what he did against Trevin Jones, and he almost still got finished against Trevin Jones in that 3rd round there. You know, he looked good for the first 2 rounds in terms of technique, his speed and abilities and things like that. Like, there were a lot of good takeaways from that. And then that 3rd round was just absolutely horrible. I couldn't tell if it was just him trying to not lose that round because he knew he had banked the first 2, or if he had gassed out, or if it was a mixture of both. Like, I truly don't know. To me, it seemed like he knew that he had banked the first 2 and he wanted to take that round off, which you can't do. You know what I mean? Because first of all, you shouldn't be confident that the judges have given you the first 2 rounds, regardless of how clear you think they were. And secondly, Trevin Jones had the ability to knock you out, and he almost did. You know what I mean? And at this point in your career, honestly, Cody Garbrandt, everybody has the ability to knock you out, which is not great. And bantamweight is so filled with absolute monsters that almost every single guy that you fight, unless you're going to be fighting guys at the bottom of the barrel making their UFC debuts or something like that, they're going to be able to finish you. And if you're not going to fight the way that you used to fight, which is trying to actually get the guy out of there, you know, there's always going to be moments where you could get finished. And Mario Bautista is a monster, and he's been looking like an absolute killer as of late. And the guy's only got 2 losses on his records. Now, funny enough, whatever the fuck, dude. One of them was to Trevin Jones. Okay, he got TKO'd in the 2nd round. But to be fair, Trevin Jones knocks out you know, when he wins, he knocks out his opponents. Almost like that's like almost the only way he has to win. And that was 2 years ago. So since then, right, he's beat Jay Perrin, which by decision. And then after seeing what Raul Rosas Jr. did to Jay Perrin, that might not age that greatly. But then he subbed Brian Kelleher, he subbed Benito Lopez, and he subbed Guido Canetti all in the first round. So he's on fire. And even before that Trevin Jones fight, he had TKO'd Miles Johns with a flying knee. And his only loss before that was his UFC debut, which, dude, get this. Imagine getting Corey Sandhagen for your UFC debut. I mean, Jesus Christ. And he got subbed. So that's a hard fight for your debut. I'm not blaming him for that one. But dude's on a 4-fight win streak, 3 of those being finishes. Cody Garbrandt is on a 1-fight win streak, and one where he almost got finished against a guy in Trevin Jones who, with all due respect, is not that high level. You know, he lost 4 in a row. He had gotten subbed by Said Yakub Kakramanov, my bad, dude. He lost to Basrat, who's good, and he lost to Raoni Barcelos. Okay, and then Cody Garbrandt. So the dude's lost 4 in a row. And his last win was against Mario Bautista, which is funny, but Cody Garbrandt doesn't seem to be going for those KOs anymore, though. Whereas Trevin Jones, that's like what he's going for. He's going to march you down and try and knock you out because that's how he wins fights. Whereas Cody Garbrandt now, he's not going to be sticking around in the pocket against Mario Bautista. He's going to be doing what he did against Trevin Jones, which is like takedowns, few little punches, get back up, stick and move, jabs, leg kicks, takedowns, like things like this. Because he's trying to avoid not getting hit, which is an intelligent way to fight, but it is not an exciting way to fight. And I feel like slowly but surely, the people that enjoyed watching Cody Garbrandt fight are no longer going to enjoy watching him fight. And the people that like getting him get knocked out or whatever, you know what I mean? It's going to be the same thing. But I have a feeling that Guido Canetti is going to be able to get... Guido Canetti. Mario Bautista is going to be able to get this one done. I think that he's, like, leveled up. He is on an absolute tear, as we spoke about earlier. And I just have a feeling he's going to have something in mind for how he's going to beat Cody Garbrandt. And, I mean, if he, in all honesty, probably wouldn't mind getting taken down either. He probably feels pretty comfortable playing some jiu-jitsu with Cody Garbrandt on the mat. And Cody Garbrandt, I feel like he's been kind of... His striking style, while it was scary at one time, I feel like TJ Dillashaw kind of exposed that. Like, if you're able to stay on the outside and not get into the pocket with him, you're not necessarily in a whole lot of danger. Now, he did show us that he's been working on his leg kicks and body kicks and things like that. But, man, I don't know. Every time he fights, I'm going to feel this way. Like, shit, I don't know if he should fight. That's just what I'm going to be feeling. And I feel like a lot of people are going to be feeling that because we saw him get fucked up so many times in a row that it's just not great, man. And, you know, he's already tried the weight class jump. He already tried going down. Got finished there, too. Probably wasn't a good idea. Moving weight classes isn't always the best answer. But, man, to be fair to Cody, though, like, it's easy to shit on him. But the guy wasn't fighting bums up until Trevin Jones. But the problem with that Trevin Jones win, is that it wasn't all that impressive. And I know that Mario Bautista lost to him, but if Mario Bautista was to fight Trevin Jones multiple times, you know, he would probably win most of the time. So yeah, like I said, dude, to be fair to Cody Garbrandt, man, we get KO'd and TKO'd by TJ Dillashaw twice in a row. We get TKO'd by Pedro Munoz. We beat Asuncao, who was a little older and was also having success in that fight. Cody landed a nice shot at the buzzer, which was not luck, but was very fortunate for him. And then he get the absolute shit beaten out of him by Rob Font, and then he gets TKO'd by Kai Kara-France. So, dude, out of 6, 5 times he loses, 4 of those being TKOs or KOs, and then he barely skates by with Trevin Jones. Mario Bautista, I would imagine, is going to I think Mario Bautista is going to get this one done, and I think he might submit Cody Garbrandt. And I just hope that that happens for Cody Garbrandt's sake, because I don't want to see him get KO'd anymore. And it's shitty, man, because he's not a fucking old guy. He's not old. You know what I mean? So telling a guy like that to retire is kind of shitty, because he's not old, and this is how he makes his money, right? But at the same time, I don't want to see this guy slurring his words and fucking, you know what I mean? I always use this comparison to guys, but like BJ Penn is the best example of this that we have so far. Like in boxing, there's a ton of examples of dudes that have CTE and shit like that, where they're like totally slurring their words. I remember Evander Holyfield, pardon me, went on the Joe Rogan Experience. This was years ago, and I was stunned. And then when they said he was going to fight Vitor Belfort, I was even more stunned, because on that episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, he was literally drooling, and he was extremely hard to understand. But Joe had to pass him a fucking Kleenex to wipe the drool from his mouth, which is not a good look. And then, I mean, Floyd Mayweather's uncle, you can barely understand a word that motherfucker says. You know what I mean? And BJ Penn is our best example of what it looks like, because even Chuck Liddell can still speak fine. I don't know how BJ Penn speaks, but the motherfucker's gotten in a lot of trouble, and I would argue that a vast majority of that trouble is probably due to some traumatic brain injury that he has taken over the years. So I don't want to see that for Cody Garbrandt. The guy's got kid, at least one, maybe two, I can't remember. I think he's got one kid, but either way, man, I don't want to see him fucked up, and because it is sad, dude. He looked so promising at one point in time, and then, you know, a few finishes, and that's really all it takes, man. Now, it's a good thing for him that he fights at 135 pounds, because none of these have been, like, flatline starchings. Like, but fuck, man. I think Mario Bautista gets this one done. And this is, like, I don't even know if Bautista's ranked right now. You know what I mean? So it's not like they're Cody Garbrandt gets one win, and they're throwing him back into the top of the division to go get fucked up. This is like they're trying to rebuild him again slowly. Or plan B is that Mario Bautista gets a sick finish over Cody Garbrandt, and they've got fresh blood they can build up. It's funny, man, because every single guy that Cody Garbrandt was like going after when he still had a number beside his name, and he might still, I might be fucking crazy, I just don't think so. Sean O'Malley would have fucking annihilated this guy. You know what I mean? Even if I would like to see him and Dominic Cruz fight again. You know what I mean? Shit like this. I don't know if he would be able to do as well as he did the first time. But anyways, dude. Mario Bautista by sub. Cody Garbrandt. I hope he retires before it's too late. And yeah, that being said, dude, this is the end of this video. Like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'll thank you in advance for your sub. And goodbye.